Ladies and gentlemen, may I please have your attention? Please have your tickets in hand before you board the plane. Thank you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Johan Castell and you're watching Wings. Today we explore how Uttar Pradesh prepares for the largest gathering of humanity on the planet, the Kumbh Mela. We cover the improvement of the Australia-India relationship with a new working holiday visa that has become available for Indians. And our country in focus for the week is Albania in the Balkans. Let's start. The Kumbh Mela preparations are in full swing for the mega event that will take place in January next year. Let us show you what it's all about.
The largest gathering of humanity on the planet. Celebrating the festival in the quest of moksha, or the liberation from the cycle of life and death. This is Kumbh, an experience of a lifetime. Millions of pilgrims gather at the Sangam, the confluence of the Ganga, the Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati rivers in India, to take a dip in the holy waters. With just less than 3 months to go, Prayagraj is all set to host Mahakumbh, one of the world's largest religious gatherings. In 2019, 240 million pilgrims attended the Ard Kumbh in Prayagraj, and now an estimated 400 million pilgrims are expected to converge at the Prayagraj in Mahakumbh 2025. Recently, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, unveiled the logo, website and mobile app for the mega event. The Mahakumbh 2025 logo carries deep symbolic meaning, featuring elements like a temple, a seer, and the Akshayvat tree, representing the confluence of nature and humanity in Sanatana Dharma, a Sanskrit term that translates to eternal religion or eternal law and is used to signify a more traditional outlook of Hinduism. The Chief Minister launched a dedicated website and app to help pilgrims access information and services related to the event. The 2025 Mahakumbh venue will span 4,000 hectares, 800 hectares more than 2019 when the event was organized on 3,200 hectares. With such an expanse, one of the biggest challenges will be security and crowd management.
कोई भी व्यक्ति कुंभ में आए उसका वेरिफिकेशन जरूर हो। हम किसी भी व्यक्ति को अपने अखाड़े में या अपने पंडाल में रहने की अनुमति तब तक न दें जब तक कि हम उसके बारे में पूरी जानकारी न रख लें, क्योंकि बहुत महत्वपूर्ण होगा और अभी से एक्सरसाइज शुरू होनी है, अभी से शुरू कर लेनी चाहिए।
Security arrangements will include an anti-drone system and extensive use of artificial intelligence tools. 7,000 buses will be deployed. Cleanliness will also be on the top of the agenda of the authorities. A sanitation workforce of around 10,000 people and over 150,000 toilets to accommodate the massive influx of visitors will also be in service. Also, many steps are being taken to ensure the uninterrupted and clean flow of the Ganga and Yamuna rivers. As officials work round the clock to meet the deadline by December, Mahakumbh is all set to welcome the world and celebrate one of the greatest shows on Earth.
A new exciting update is in store for youngsters from India keen to travel and work in Australia. Working holiday visas will now be available to Indians, allowing people between 18 and 30 to travel and work while exploring the country. Australia has come up with a new visa regime for Indians, the first work and holiday visa. This visa lets people 18 to 30 years old have an extended holiday in Australia and work there to help fund their trip. It will allow up to 1,000 Indians per year to come to Australia to work, study or travel around Australia and experience Australian culture as a part of a broader program. There are around 50 nations that participate, and now Indians can take part too. This came about as a result of the Australia-India Economic Trade Agreement and expanding opportunities for economic ties between the two nations. It will provide an opportunity for young Indians to come and experience Australian culture, gain some new skills, and get a taste of what life in Australia is all about. What are some of the highlights you can see in the country if you decide to visit? One of Australia's most iconic and famous landmarks is the Sydney Opera House. UNESCO listed since 2007, this masterpiece of human creativity is at the top of the wish list for many visitors to the country. For those looking for natural wonders, Uluru, which is in the middle of the country, is sacred to the indigenous people of Australia. This 863-meter tall sandstone monolith is also one of the most famous sites in the country's vast outback. For those keen on an underwater adventure, the most famous place to visit is, without a doubt, the Great Barrier Reef. Home to 400 types of coral, 1,500 fish species, and composed of over 2,900 individual reefs and 900 islands, it is a site of remarkable variety and beauty. But where do most Indians go when they visit Australia? New data from Tourism Research Australia reveals that Victoria is the top destination in Australia for Indian visitors in terms of arrivals, nights stayed, and spending. For the year ending June 2024, Victoria hosted 188,000 visitors from India, contributing $485 million to the state's tourism economy. An event was organized in New Delhi to promote relations between India and Victoria, where Victoria's Premier Jacinta Allen represented Melbourne as a destination. Also in attendance was Rohan Bopanna, who won a major doubles title at the 2024 Australian Open. The event featured cooking by Heli Raichura, who hails from Gujarat. Heli started an Indian fine dining restaurant called Enter Via Laundry in Melbourne. She was invited to New Delhi to cook food with Australian ingredients, emphasizing the high-quality produce.
So currently we are doing Parsi menu at Enter Via Laundry, and next we are going to do Rajasthani. And so I'm going to go tomorrow, I'm going to head to Jaipur and Jodhpur and hopefully get to eat a lot, and then recreate that in Melbourne with native ingredients and what's in season.
When we consider Australia as a whole, many travelers think of where to go based on specific landmarks like Sydney's Opera House. But what does Melbourne have to offer, and how can visitors be convinced to visit?
Well, one of the things that we know about people's travel is they love to come to cities. The Grand Canyon is a wonderful place to go. It gets about 5 million people a year. Paris is the most visited city in the world. It gets 44 million visitors. So there's something in the travel that people love to come to cities. And Melbourne is Australia's best city for travellers. Food, wine, culture, sport, whatever you want you can find there. So it's our place in the Australian offering to be the best city for travellers.
Well, it is clear to me that the popularity of a destination as dynamic and diverse as Melbourne will only improve. This week's country in focus is Albania, located on the Mediterranean coast of the Balkans. Let us show you more from the country's capital, Tirana.
Earlier this month, a mini festival of India in Albania event took place in the capital Tirana. Presented by architect Dikshu C. Kukreja, the cultural extravaganza showcased India's rich royal culinary heritage and architectural marvels. Even the presidential palace was transformed into a royal court as the kitchen of the kings. Event treated guests to the culinary traditions of Rampur, which is renowned for its exquisite cuisine. Attendees were offered an immersive experience of Rampur's royal flavors with delicately spiced kebabs and Rajasthani signature dishes. The evening also saw music performances entertain guests, providing a musical backdrop to the culinary experience.
So the intention here was to open the cultural doors, let people in Albania get a slice of Indian culture, and that we thought by having a culinary festival, which was really hosted at the presidential palace with the 100 who's who of Albania attending that. It was a 7-course meal, which was prepared by royal chefs who were flown in from India to Albania from the gharanas of Rampur, etc., who prepared these meals. So imagine 30 kilos of spices just flying into Albania, taste they had never had in their life, to get a glimpse of India.
The festival also featured an exhibition called An Odyssey of India's Architecture at the Polytechnic University of Tirana. Inaugurated by Blendi Goncha, Minister of Economy, Culture and Innovation of Albania, the exhibition looked at India's architectural evolution over the past 5 decades. Supported by the Minister of Economy, Culture and Innovation of Albania and the Polytechnic University of Tirana, the exhibition spotlighted key architectural milestones. It showcased designs that blend tradition with modernity, with emphasis on the work of C.P. Kukreja architects. The exhibition explored how architecture can address pressing global challenges like sustainability. The event celebrated the growing cultural and architectural ties between Albania and India and served as a successful cultural exchange. The Mini Festival of India in Albania combined India's royal culinary heritage with a vision of its architectural achievements. And the 2-day event blended history, art, and innovation.
Globally, people think of Indian architecture about the forts, palaces, monuments. But what we are doing today, the 21st century avatar of Indian architecture, is also a sight to behold. And we want to show to the people in Albania the kind of transformation, the progress that is happening in India, so that contemporary Indian architecture, particularly post-independent era, is what was shared with the people there at the Polytechnic University in Tirana.
A striking new mural is nearing completion in Tirana, Albania's capital. The massive 96 square meter artwork honors one of Albania's most revered writers, the late Ismail Kadare, who passed away in July. The mural, created by Argentinian artist Maximiliano Baniaco, is located near the city's new boulevard and is a captivating addition to the urban landscape. Baniaco felt the author was the ideal figure to dedicate the mural to after learning of Kadare's legacy following his death. The mural is part of this year's Mural Fest, an annual event that attracts artists from around the world to beautify Tirana's streets. In addition to the Kadare tribute, 14 other pieces have been commissioned throughout the city.
He is the most translated Albanian artist and writer. He is embedded in the minds of Albania's youth. Of course, the mural was selected at this place with links to the 2 worlds, the modern developed Tirana and traditional Tirana, with the boulevard stretching further downtown.
Kadare fled Albania in 1990, just before the collapse of the communist regime, and had recently returned to his homeland before his passing at 88. His bold and irreverent works, crafted under communist rule, brought him international acclaim, but also subjected him to repression by the dictatorship.
From the capital, we move over to the port city Durrës in the Adriatic Sea in western Albania, where a unique exhibit has opened that offers a rare look into what it was like to be a tourist during the communist regime of dictator Enver Hoxha. The display recreates an Albanian home from 40 years ago under the communist regime and showcases artifacts from that era while shedding light on the propaganda and surveillance tactics used on foreign visitors. Among the things curated for the exhibit is a bunker, designed to shelter up to 50 people in case of bombings. Albania constructed 170,000 of these bunkers throughout the country. Visitors can also spot ashtrays that were cleverly used to hide microphones for eavesdropping on tourists. The country's hotels had listening devices, and intelligence agents often posed as barbers or waitstaff. The secret policy closely monitored the foreign visitors allowed in and even checked their clothes.
Despite the prior communication that they should not bring foreign fashion into the country and police at the border, there was also a barber to cut the long hair of men or shave their long beards and a dressmaker to monitor if tourists had extravagant clothing or cowboy trousers. They were not to allow them to enter Albanian territory with foreign fashion.
Visitors on tour buses would pass by the country's beautiful beaches but weren't allowed to swim in their clear waters. In 1956, Albania welcomed just 250 tourists. By the time Hoxha died in 1985, that number had grown to just over 15,300. In contrast, in 2023, Albania saw 10 million visitors, with projections of 14 million this year. The Peeping Tourist exhibition is quickly becoming an unusual but captivating attraction in Albania.
The world's tallest church, Ulmer Münster in Germany, is set to pass its title to Barcelona's Sagrada Familia, with the Tower of Jesus Christ nearing completion by 2025. This iconic basilica will stand taller, marking a significant milestone in a construction journey that began over 140 years ago.
Ulmer Münster in southern Germany has been the world's tallest church for over a century. The towering Gothic masterpiece, completed in 1890, rises 161.53 meters into the sky, attracting worshippers and architecture enthusiasts alike. But now, its reign as the world's tallest church is set to end. The Sagrada Familia is nearing a monumental milestone in Barcelona. According to reports, by 2025, the church's Tower of Jesus Christ will reach a height of 172.5 meters, surpassing Ulmer Münster by just 10.97 meters. Interestingly, the German connection lingers. The cross that will crown Sagrada Familia's spire, a 17-meter tall structure, is being crafted by a German company.
I don't find it all that fascinating that it is the highest church tower in the world. The church also lifts my heart up to God. This is simply a wonderful church that invites you to pray and be thankful.
While Ulm prepares to pass the torch, the Sagrada Familia is closing in on the finish line of a construction journey that began in 1882. Initially, the project was designed by architect Francisco de Paula del Villa. However, he resigned in 1883, and Antoni Gaudi assumed project control in 1884. Gaudi's vision, an exciting blend of Gothic and Art Nouveau elements, transformed the church into a breathtaking symbol of architectural ambition. When Gaudi died in 1926, only a quarter of the basilica was complete. Subsequent years were marked by setbacks, including the Spanish Civil War, which halted progress for decades. It wasn't until the 21st century that advances in computer-aided design gave the project the momentum it needed to reach its current phase. The Sagrada Familia is unlike any other church. No right angles are found, and one would spot very few straight lines. Gaudi's work tells a deeply theological story across three facades. The Nativity facade celebrates Christ's birth. The Passion facade portrays his suffering, and the ongoing Glory facade will depict themes of the afterlife, including heaven and hell. The Tower of Jesus Christ installation is a defining moment in the Basilica's history. By the end of 2024, the 12th level of the tower will be complete, allowing for the crowning cross to be placed in 2025. Though construction will continue until 2034, these latest developments bring the Basilica closer to fulfilling Gaudi's dream, which seemed unattainable for much of the past century.
With the ongoing tension between Taiwan and China, you might think people from these places don't often meet or travel across the strait. But only recently, over 1,000 pilgrims from Taiwan traveled to Mishu Island in China's Fujian province for a religious festival, a rare moment of cultural exchange. Take a look.
Meizhou Island, nestled in Putian, is alive with vibrant celebrations as devotees honor Mazo, their beloved sea goddess of deep cultural significance. This year's Grand Festival on Meizhou Island marks a rare cross-strait exchange moment amid escalating political tensions across the Taiwan Strait. Located in Putian City, Meizhou Island came alive with the sound of firecrackers and the rhythmic beat of gongs as devotees gathered to honor Mazo. The revered sea goddess at the site where she is believed to have lived and ascended to divinity. Mazo holds a special place in Chinese mythology, especially for communities living along the coasts of southern China and Taiwan. Mazo is known as the protector of sailors, fishermen, and travelers. The story of Mazo traces back to Lin Mo, a young woman from Meizhou Island in the 10th century. Devoted to helping others, she lost her life at just 27 during a rescue mission to save shipwreck victims. To this day, fishermen and sailors seek her blessings before embarking on their journeys, praying for safe returns and abundant catches. Today, nearly 5,000 Mazo temples exist worldwide, with approximately 300 million followers. Taiwan, a significant center of Mazo worship, is home to over 800 temples and more than 14 million devotees. Mazo worship involves more than just rituals. It reflects deep-rooted customs, oral traditions, and community practices shared across generations.
That's a wrap for this week's Wings. We will return next weekend with more travel content for you. Until then, it's me, Johan Castell, signing off. Goodbye.